Welcome to our Facebook Live for today. I just want to shout out and welcome our amazing Mark Macdonald all the way from Atlanta, Georgia. How are you, Mark?
I am doing great, Keely. I wish I was down under with you right now.
Well, down under here in Adelaide is like a hurricane, and the only hurricane I've ever been in has been in Orlando, Florida, and I did survive that. So hopefully the internet connection will hold up. But I'm so excited, and I'm really grateful that you have given up your time. You are probably one of the busiest people I know, hardest people to pin down. But I think isolation, and we can thank coronavirus for this. So I'd just like to shout out and thank you, coronavirus. But I want to just introduce Mark. A lot of people in the group already know Mark well. He is the creator of the Zen Project Date program. He is also a nutritionist, health professional. He owns his own nutrition company called Venice Nutrition, which I have done their health coach certification. He is a dad, a husband. He is on all of the mainstream media across the States. He was on the Today Show down here when he was in Oz a couple of years back with my favorite Carl Stefanovic, who got the axe after that, but then he came back again. So Carl's back. And then he's also someone who has experienced his own health journey along the way, because everyone in the Zen life knows that this is not like a glossy, this is how you look, this is how you live your best health, this is how perfect your life is. Everyone knows the struggles that we have around health, and that nothing just goes perfectly in a straight line all the time. It's just a bit of a roller coaster depending on you, what's happening. And Mark has had that kind of journey too. And I kind of want you to share with us today, Mark, a bit about your journey with your health, but also we're going to then tap into hormones, which is a massive catch word right now. I've done so much research myself on hormones. Being a woman, we often blame a lot of things that are happening on hormones. As you know, as a husband, I'm sure your wife's the same. But yeah, first I want to hear from you, like, what is your health story, and what have your struggles been?
Well, first, hello everyone in the Zen life, and it's an honor to be here with you. I have my iPad here. Lisa Ross, Vicky, I love that you're joining us. And whether you're white, I know it's like morning in Australia and New Zealand, and it's night for me because it's a long time difference. But I love Australia. I'm like, it's deep in my heart. And what I also love about Keely is the Zen life. And this community means so much to me. Watching it, seeing it grow is simply incredible. And I just want to share, as I go right to let me go to the Zen life. And I see this group. I love seeing what Keely's doing. I love seeing what each of you are doing. I love all the interaction. I love the success stories. So when Keely reached out to me and said, Mark, hey, are you open to do, and we're launching this reset phase, we're all firing up. She said, could you come do a coaching session? I said, Keely, I will do anything for you. I love everything. I love the community you're created. So I just want you to know that this doesn't have to be the one and only. I will always make time for the Zen Life community. It's deep to my heart. Keely and her amazing family, and I just want to give all of you a standing ovation. We see Carla Bond jumping on here. So I love everything you're doing in the community. So first off, Keely, thank you for leading this, and everyone, thank you for showing up.
Thank you, Mark. I am so kind of blessed in a way with this community, because it's just grown really organically from me doing the program and just sharing my story. And then I've just realized the power of sharing your story, and then how many other people are like you and might be struggling as well. So I'm really grateful for the Zen life, and I always want to keep it real and keep it honest with you. But yeah, Mark, can you share a little bit with us, like, about your health story?
I mean, I think that's what I love about the Zen life, Keely. And that's what I love about everyone part of this community, is the authenticity. Life is hard, life has challenges, and it's all about being real with who you are and being clear on where you are in your life. So, Keely said, can you share some of those pictures that I've seen? So basically, and I think that's probably what you want to think about now, where you are with your health. What are you doing? From a point of Are you in your 20s and you feel like your metabolism's on fire? Are you moving into the aspect of the evolution where you're in a relationship, you're working, and now time isn't as great as it used to be, and you're not able to be active, and your food isn't as clean as you want it to be, and you're starting to gain weight? Are you then shifting into your 40s where your hormones, as we're going to talk a lot about hormones tonight, are changing? And then you're moving to your 50s, and for women in particular with menopause, things really start shifting at that point. The point I'm making is that in certain parts of your life, there's always going to be different health chapters. You know, I started as a soccer player. I trained as an athlete growing up, ate whatever I wanted, stayed lean. The moment I stopped playing soccer, kept eating like an athlete without exercise. And you see, I went from 190 to 250, which is about 30 kg, 60 pounds. And that's Abby. Look at Abby back in the day, my wife. And then I freaked out, stepped on the scale, and said, I got to get this off. And I went on a ketogenic diet, cut my carbs, ate protein and fat, starved myself 6 days a week, binged 1 day a week, and took my body fat down to 3%. And I lived this fitness model for a couple of years that way. And then I said, there's got to be a better way. And the last 2 years I was fitness modeling, I shifted to PFC, eating protein, fat, carbohydrates, not using food to lose weight, but using food to create hormonal balance. And it really allowed me to achieve everything I wanted. Right here, this one in the blue shorts is on a keto. The one where I'm shredded was eating PFC. And then as I kept evolving, I didn't want to keep working out 2 hours a day in the gym anymore. I'm a dad. I wanted to be active. This picture here is 47. I'm kind of back to my athlete days. And the whole goal with this session that we're doing in this community is to help people understand that you first have to define what is your health chapter and what do you really want to achieve with your health. You know, for me as an athlete, I want to be a great athlete. My son, 15, he wants to be a great athlete. He's training for that. As a fitness model, I wanted to build the most amount of muscle, stay clean, be as lean as possible. Now, I don't want to be 3% body fat, but we go hiking, I go on boats, I want to take my shirt off. I still want to be lean and cut. I just don't need to be shredded. So based on where you are in your life, you got to decide where you want to go and how you want to take it from there. And I think that's probably, as Keely and I talked about, as you define your health chapter, the one thing I would invite you to do is really get clear on, as we're talking tonight, is what is your reason? What's the reason behind your health? What's the reason behind your body? And as I've gone through lots of journeys with my own personal challenges with my wife, Abby, it's all about getting clear on what are you fighting for with your health. When you get that, you're willing to do the work, and the Zen life and what you're learning in this program with Keely, she can lead you every step of the way.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I think it's so important. Like when I saw that visual view of all the stages in your life, that's real. Because, you know, sometimes we look to professionals and experts and, you know, you can follow nutritionists on Instagram and fitness models and all these people, but that's just a moment in time. And we know that your health just does not look like that at all. And we also know that a photo is just one snapshot in time as well. There's just so much more to it than that. So the other thing I know you've spoken about in the past is how much you watched your mum be a yo-yo dieter and what impact that had on you, because I feel like a lot of our experiences around food and dieting and our body and that can just come from other sources as well. So how much of an impact did that have on you?
Yeah, I mean, that was a defining moment. I just want to give a shout out. We got Angie Lucente on, Stephanie Sharpward, Bridget, Sam Sessions. It's good, Stephanie Park. It's good to see everyone jumping on. And we're going to do live Q&A as well. I think when Keely, about my mom, I remember walking in when I was 7 years old. She's sitting on the bed, and she's got tears in her eyes. And you know, as a 7-year-old, I'm like, Mom, what's going on? Why are you crying? And she said, you know, I failed again. And she was a chronic dieter. She would lose weight, gain weight, lose weight, gain weight. And, you know, I guess what really frustrated me in the dieting world is that my mom was willing to do the work. It wasn't that she was lazy. And this is what happens. People say you don't have willpower, you're lazy. It's never that. It's a lack of understanding. In the States, 68%, a new study came out, 68% of people don't understand food. They don't know what a protein, fat, or carbohydrate are. People want to live healthier lives. Think about the COVID-19. People aren't choosing to be unhealthy. Many people just don't know how to make it work. They think they have to suffer. They think they have to starve themselves. And that's why, like, when we talk about dieting, we always look at like the yo-yo dieting syndrome. And this is kind of what a diet looks like. You know, we think about it. When I remember when I was 60 pounds. I looked in the mirror. I thought I still had a six-pack stomach. Abby's looking at me saying, I don't see it anymore in a loving way. And it's brought me back to like my mom's challenges. So I panicked. And what did I do? I cut. And this is what we do. We starve. We do intermittent fasting. We do ketogenic. We do whatever we feel is easiest to drop weight. Our blood sugar drops. We start losing weight. We start feeling a little better, not maybe internally, but externally. People start saying, hey, you're looking good. And then the hunger and cravings begin to intensify. We push them away for a moment. That's our physical willpower. But when we talk about the physiological willpower, eventually you crack. You start overeating, reintroduce what you cut, you spike your blood sugar, your weight increases, and you start the cycle over and over again. The problem is the next time, because you cut, you lost the muscle, which slowed down your metabolism, and then you gained. This is what I watched my mom do 10 different times. It's what I've watched thousands upon thousands of people do around the world. There's a better way. And that's really what we're talking about. Based on, you got to first define what health chapter are you in? What are your realistic goals? And then you need to say to yourself, I'm not going to diet anymore. 3 questions you got to ask yourself is, number 1, is it based on the science of my body? And Keely and I are going to dive into how living the Zen life, how balancing your blood sugar is based on the science of your body. Number 2 is, can I do this for the rest of my life? Will this be a lifestyle? So is it based on the science of my body? Can I do it for the rest of my life? Third one, can I have a kid or teenager do it? I grew up, my mom and Lori ate their food. Myself, my sister, Chris, and Dad ate the good food. They ate the diet foods. We ate the good food. Families shouldn't live like that. And that's really what I love about the Zen life. That's what I love what you're doing, Keely, is you're teaching families how to really make their health work.
Absolutely. So many points in there just resonate probably with me, and why I spend so much time helping people, and I just get so much fulfillment out of helping people, because I know what it feels like to just feel that kind of struggle myself. And I think now, I read a quote the other day that it's like, don't give up 95% of your life to weigh 5% less, or something like that. And
I love that.
And it hit me so, like, it just made me think so hard about that quote, because right now, if you wrote down on a bit of paper, like what Mark said, what health chapter are you up to? I'm at the health chapter for me of, I've got 3 kids, I'm working my online business, I'm exercising, I'm taking the kids pre-COVID-19 to all the activities, the sports, on the run. My husband's working long hours. We are active, but I don't want to be what I might have wanted to be in my 20s. Like, I'm a, healthy size 12. I'm not obsessed about food. I'm not stressed about it, because for the first time in my life, I know what I want. I know how I want to feel. Of course it goes up and down, because that's life. And I just don't think people are really talking about just that reality of accepting yourself and accepting and having body confidence and feeling fantastic, but stop trying to be unachievable things. And for me, that's what the Zen life is about. Everyone's different. Everyone comes in with their own genetics, lifestyle, all the things. But for you right now, what do you want? Like, do you want to feel good? Feeling good. What does feeling good mean? Does that mean that you don't feel bloated, that you love yourself when you look in the mirror, that you fit into your clothes, that you just like yourself and you like your life? I mean, what is that worth to you? For me, and for me, that is why I do Zen and I promote Zen, because for the first time in my life, I got to a point where I felt all of those things and I didn't feel obsessed with food or feeling like nothing was ever good enough. So that's how I want you to ask yourself, because this is about you and adding value to your life, is what do you want right now? Because for some people, looking good in a bikini, that matters to them right now. Absolutely. So, and that's okay. And I think that's a big thing. There's no judgment about that. It's, what do you want? And that's what I think we can share now, is the PFC every 3 model and stabilizing your blood sugars. Because Mark, I'm not going to kind of put out any false kind of vibes here, but there is so much information on the market. Everyone's trying to sell something. it's a flooded kind of industry around, you should do this, you should do that. You've got a doctor who then says to do this specific thing. Then you've got hormone specialists. You've got all these people doing podcasts, right? That there is so much information. It is almost frightening about the kind of information you can get. While I love it, it just kind of makes you feel cloudy and confused. So can you talk to us about stabilizing your blood sugars and eating PFC every 3? What does that look like?
Yeah, so Kaylee, first, I just love your authenticity. That's why people love you. They follow you because of the truth of that. And if everyone loves that, we're following this. Everyone's loving that. Louise is on. Samantha. So if you're loving Keely, make some noise in the chat. That's what's so cool. Stephanie Park said, I have a whole new wardrobe. Because this is about us working, like talking right now. So I just want to recap. Step 1 tonight is making sure you define your health chapter. Step 2 is to ditch the dieting mindset. And I love what Keely said, because ditching the dieting mindset means that you have to become educated, because people diet because they don't know what to do. And that's what we want to help you. We want to teach you about how to balance your blood sugar and master your hormones and optimize your digestion. And that's going to be the content. So when we talk about blood sugar balance, and for me, it's about keeping it super simple. And this is what comes back down to, and Keely talked about in Body Confidence. And I remember when I wrote Body Confidence, I talked about when Abby was pregnant with Hunter, and Hunter's 15 now. It's 2005. And we went to see a doctor in 2004 because she had gestational diabetes. Hunter was a big baby. Abby ate clean, but it caused blood sugar irregularities. And that triggered, down this rabbit hole of horrible information from the medical field. I'm a nutritionist kinesiologist, and people were just teaching wrong information. So I just want you to go back. Remember, we talked about the 3 things. Is it based on the science of your body? Everybody's energy source is ATP. This is 100%. There's no 99%, 100% of people's energy is ATP. You need to balance your blood sugar to create energy for your body. If your blood sugar drops by skipping meals and dieting, you release a hormone called glucagon, you burn muscle. If you overeat, you spike your blood sugar, you release insulin, you store fat. The whole concept here, and think of a baby. Baby feeds every 3 hours, has a balance of protein, fats, carbohydrates, and breast milk or formula. They stop eating when they're satisfied, they eat again when they're hungry. This doesn't mean that you can't still get results without balancing your blood sugar or eating PFC. PFC is a way that you decide how to balance your blood sugar. Your body's going to do it for you if you choose not to do it. I have a friend who does intermittent fasting and cuts my hair. And he's been in this IF philosophy. And he was rocking it the first year. And I said, okay, I just want you to know that it's a 70% fail rate after a year. He's all, year in, I'm doing it. Then he had to start eating cleaner. And then by the 3rd year, I just saw him back from the quarantine. He went on a binge and gained 25 pounds because he didn't understand how to eat. And because IF only worked for him when he was nonstop busy. That's not a way of life. When we talk about keto, intermittent fasting, these things are not designed on the physiology of your body. The physiology of your body is protein affects the hormone glucagon, carbs affect insulin, and fat slows down digestion. The combination of the 3 creates this internal balance within your body that your body wants. It's called homeostasis. And when your blood sugar is balanced, I got one more visual I want to show you. When your blood sugar is balanced, this is what happens. We're not using food to lose weight. We're using food to create hormonal balance. And when your body's balanced, you're releasing your stored fat consistently. So if you want to burn fat, your fat is releasing that bloodstream, and then it's going to be burned up primarily in the muscle. If you want to build muscle, you're not going to be losing muscle because you have stable blood sugar. This is going to allow you to build muscle, increase your metabolism. This is why when we launched PFC and Venice Nutrition in 1999, I was in Gold's Gym, Venice Beach, and I was talking to everyone, and I was working with the people who couldn't lose the last 10 pounds or 5 kilos. Those are the people that no one could help because diets don't work for them. But when you balance your blood sugar, you transform your body. You actually are not only improving your body, you're increasing your metabolic speed, and you're reversing the aging process. That's why we launched PFC. That's why I partner with incredible companies like Jeunesse. That's why we launched our Zen movement and our products. Because as we talk later about the layers of nutrition, a lot of times to eat PFC, you need help, you need solutions. But this is the basic foundation of why your body needs to fuel. And when your blood sugar is balanced, you're starting to balance your hormones? Good question, Keely.
Awesome. Thank you. So I think you said a couple of things there, but what I want to then dive into a little bit is about hormones specifically. And I'm not going to talk about specific conditions and issues, but we do have people in the group I know that have got thyroid issues. I actually listened to a podcast recently about thyroid and just how many people are taking like thyroxine to try and balance their thyroid hormone and all of those kind of things. And when I did a bit more research into that, I looked at a lot of the people that are specializing in that are basically teaching people to eat to stabilize their blood sugars, which is going to help with that. So, that was a little bell that kind of went off. Also, people with, we've got people in the group that have got challenges with polycystic ovaries, endometriosis, and who have had amazing success with eating PFC every 3. But the other one is about stress. And that's what I want to ask you about first. And really that kind of living in adrenaline and then the cortisol and then what does eating PFC every 3, like how does this affect our lives when we are living a high stress kind of life? Because I feel like right now, some people are living in stress and fear because everyone's really worried about the coronavirus, the COVID-19. But even before that, our life in 2020, and this is what I say as well when I'm talking to people, it's not the same as what it was 20 years ago. I mean, I look at where my mum had us, we lived out on a farm and we ate a lot of foods off of our farm. She didn't have to run anywhere. She didn't have to take us anywhere. Life was more simple. There wasn't the same level of stress. Now for me as a mum, if I fast forward and my 3 kids, what am I doing? Where am I going? Am I running late? Like my life is more stressful just because of the times we live in, the mobile phones, the internet, the this, that, the other. So how does this stress and the cortisol affect how we eat and with our sugar balance as well?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question. And if everyone wants to learn about mastering your hormones, and Craig Show, it's great to have you on. Type in the number 1 in the chat if you're excited to dive into some science about your hormones. Now, I'm going to share the story. And I think what you talked about, PCOS, all of these things reminds me back to the day of, for myself, it comes back down to Abby's challenges. Abby, the love of my life, my wife, we launched Venice. We're helping people eat PFC every 3. And then I love Sam, put in 1. Put in 1 if you want to learn more about the hormones. But what I started to see was that when Abby had an injury in 1999 and she started going down chronic pain, she started having all these autoimmune, IBS, chronic inflammation. Her body wasn't working for her like it used to. And it kind of took me, we talked about rabbit hole earlier, Keely, offline, it took me down a rabbit hole. And it really led to me creating the system I created when I wrote Body Confidence, the 3-step system. And I'm going to talk about, when we look at this, and I just want to share a little vision from here. Like when you think about this, the step is know your why. So I remember sitting with Abby, it was 1999. I walk out of her bedroom. She's crying on the couch. And she looks up at me and she rated herself a 2 out of 10 in health. She said, I'm never going to get better. She could barely walk. She was sleeping horribly. Her body wasn't working for her. She was diagnosed with fibromyalgia and she basically started giving up. And, we all have those moments in life where we lose it and we frustrated and we don't have an answer. And I said, well, find a way. And what we did is we started defining why her health mattered. And then I focused on the 6 components. I focused on sleep, nutrition, water, stress, exercise, and supplements because those 6 things directly affect your hormones. And then we started focusing on how to take your health and make it a way of life. When we think about internal, and this is probably why dieting frustrates me so much because it doesn't solve. My life changed. I have a most amazing 15-year-old son. We have our baby girl, Hope, who turns 5 next week because my wife chose to fight for her health because she chose to do the work. And it's not that people, back to my mom, it's not that people don't want to do the work. They don't know what to do. So what I want to educate you about when we talk about hormones, I want to show you a chart. Now, I don't want you to get overwhelmed because it's a little scientifically. And I remember I used to show this in a chart when I work with a client, but this is how your body works. So internally, you have something called a set point, and it's in a part of your brain called the hypothalamus, and it works like a thermostat in a room. that when if my room is set at 70 degrees, I turn on a cooling mechanism. We've got above 70 heat and we've got below. This is where it's called your weight regulating mechanism, and it's in your hypothalamus. But your hypothalamus also affects 3 main hormone chains, plus others, because it also affects your testosterone, estrogen, progesterone. But basically thyroid, what ends up happening is your thyroid your TRH goes to your pituitary, stimulates your thyroid, and your thyroid controls your metabolism. So this is your body's metabolism. Your stress, your cortisol. So the way your body works is every time you panic, if you're running late, if you're stressed, you have these little mini moments of bursts of stress. And it's these little microbursts. And every hormone has another hormone that counters it. So what ends up happening is your adrenal gland is releasing it. But the problem is that if you never have a moment of calmness, you go to chronic stress. Too much cortisol raises your blood sugar. So what ends up happening is this starts making you heavy on your blood sugar, and you start getting more belly fat. You start struggling to lose weight because you become chronic stress. Then we talk about growth hormone. And growth hormone is amazing. You know, when we talk about pituitary to growth hormone to the liver, and then this immediately helps balance your blood sugar, increase your metabolism. So when we talk about hormones, everything you do with your food matters. When your blood sugar is unstable, you increase your stress, you sleep less, your digestive system works less efficiently. When you spike your blood sugar, you cause a whole problem internally, causes your digestive system to panic, it makes your body into a store mode, and it affects your sleep and your stress. These are all variables. So it's not that blood sugar balance cures a slow thyroid, but blood sugar balance will immediately help all autoimmune challenges, because if you can choose the right foods to balance your blood sugar and optimize your digestion, you immediately reduce inflammation and you allow your body to work for you. That's the science of your body. This is not what intermittent fasting can teach you. This is not what ketogenic can teach you. There's 6 essential nutrients. Protein, fats, and carbs are your 3 macros that provide energy. Vitamins, minerals, and water are your micro. Why would you ever remove a food group? It doesn't make any sense. So if you start understanding your body, you become a way of life. It changes how you function. It changes how you look at things. And like Keely said, you can decide if you want to be bikini shape ready, you just got to do more work, hit the gym a little bit more, eat a little cleaner. If you don't care if you have a little bit, then that's okay. Because it's not about having a flat stomach. It's not about looking amazing in the mirror. It's about feeling your best and fueling your body optimally to optimize your digestion and master your hormones.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I haven't seen that graphic before, but that's something that I think a lot of people can relate to, because you can't deny that people are living in a more stressful kind of time right now. So you have to just accept that. And then that is up to us, you, everyone. You have to decide what your life looks like and how stressful your life is. And I guess come up with ways to keep yourself not in that state of adrenaline and just releasing cortisol. And I've been there. I have lived in a state of adrenaline and stress before, and I've seen what it does to my body. And I've had a high thyroid level reading, and that because I've been living in a state of just feeling stressed and anxious, and then what that does and the flow on effect to your body, it's actually amazing. But I think the thing for me is when you know what you know about PFC, so I know how to eat, I know the information, I can't ever unlearn that, and I can't dismiss that, and I don't have to be an expert, and I don't have to study it too much. If you show the proteins, the fats, the carbs, and I can get a basic understanding, I know that forever, that no matter what happens or what challenges you have, and everyone's going to go through stressful situations, you know how to come back to your best health. And I think that's reality, because no one really talks about that. And that's what's probably not portrayed that much, I don't think, now. If you follow certain people, you got to be really careful about whose information you're watching, because do they live your life? Are they like you? I follow a lot of nutritionists and health people, and they don't have kids and they're in their early 20s and they're living their best life. And actually their information, whilst scientifically it's all great, it doesn't resonate with me because they're not living my life. So I think that's something, you know, to really think about and look at your stress levels and look at what you can do. I know yoga's been a big thing for me just to calm the mind. I find it hard to meditate, but all of those things have made a huge impact on stress levels. Another thing that I wanted to ask you about a little bit about is people often feel really bloated. Can you talk to us a little bit about that feeling, like all the time and different times of the month, I think for women as well, which is totally normal, but why is everyone walking around so bloated?
Yeah, so Kaylee, and I love it. Craig loves this too, and I love all the action in the chat, so keep that coming. So let's just recap. You have to define your health chapter. You gotta ditch the dieting. You're starting to understand blood sugar. Is it based on the science of my body? Can I do it for the rest of my life? Would I put a child or kid on it? And now you're starting to see, okay, and when I balance my body and create homeostasis, my hormones work for me. Now we talk about food. And I just want everyone that you are what you metabolize. So your digestive system matters. I'm going to show 3 graphics for you just so you have a better understanding. The first one is we really talk about when we want to look at the 3 layers of food. And let's just think about food right now. And this would I invite everyone to do tonight. That you think about layer 1 is your whole food. So in a perfect world, you're eating your whole food. This is your clean protein, fat, carbohydrates. You're balancing your blood sugar. Things are working. But because we live a busy life, this is why we add our gap filler foods. This is why I created ZenFuse. You know, and you know, a story I don't tell a lot about ZenFuse is this, that so I love protein shakes. For my whole life, I've loved them because I'm not making 5-6 meals a day. So I needed those gap fillers, and I like liquid protein. I like mixing between whole protein, liquid protein. It's really good for your digestive system. But something about ZenFuse, I've been on when Hope was born. So our daughter turns 5 next week. She's on the autistic spectrum, and she has a super challenging digestive system. The most amazing girl in the world to me, like just incredible. But so I've been making shakes for a while. We launched ZenFuse literally. We started designing it right after Hope was born. And it was a purpose of it. It reminded me of a story about my brother, Kevin Lawrence, one of my best friends, not my brother, one of my best friends who created a protein bar called Power Crunch. And he created it because his son had colitis and couldn't digest protein. So when I started thinking about, okay, with Fuse, we have probiotics, we do a double protein blend. And Hope is super picky, but she does her 2 to 3 ZenFuse shakes a day. She does her ZenFuse popsicles. So what I want to make sure you understand is that sometimes whole food's not enough. Sometimes you need gap filler foods that provide you with the nutrients you need. And then sometimes you need these essential nutrients that build on top of it. It's not just one layer. You need to master all 3 layers, and based upon your digestive system, based upon what works for you, you might need to add more probiotics, prebiotics, a multivitamin, mineral, antioxidants, digestive enzymes. So you have to come back down to, if I'm bloated, what foods are causing you to bloat? Abby has a very challenging digestive system, and I got her a latte machine. Keely, you'll love this. I got her a latte machine that you can do. And we got this A1 milk, and she started using a lot of the A1 milk. And she said like a couple of days ago, man, I'm so bloated. I'm having too many of my lattes. So like, these are things that she understands, that she learned her body about what she has to adjust. And let me show you why. So when you think about your digestive system, and this is a chart, you have to kind of understand how the body works and then what works for you. So right here, you have in your mouth, you have a digestive enzyme called amylase, and that breaks down. You have your mechanical digestion, which is your teeth and your smooth muscle. Chemical is your acids and enzymes. Amylase breaks down your carbohydrates. Stomach, your pepsin, hydrochloric acid. Pepsin is an enzyme that breaks down protein, so your carbs start being broken down in your mouth. Your protein starts being broken down in your stomach, and then you're going to have your fats primarily in your small intestine. And this is where you have to start looking. If you're somehow lactose intolerant, you lack the lactase enzyme that breaks down the lactose sugar molecule. So that's why people take Lactate. If you feel more bloated on gluten bloats a lot of people, but let's say that you have sugar sweeteners, you might have a more sensitive digestive system. You might not have enough pepsin if certain proteins hurt you. Proteins like fish and egg whites are easier to digest than chicken, turkey, and then beef is the hardest. I don't know kangaroo yet, Keely, so we got to test that one. But right here,
you've had kangaroo.
I have, but I don't know how it
Remember?
digests, so I'm going to let you do that.
Okay.
But this is where you want to start thinking about what works for you digestively, because how you metabolize it, what foods, and that's why I love the food list you start with, and you choose what are going to be the best ones for you. And then we go back to the last thing where you actually look at your digestive system, and it's just about learning how to master this, how to really get this dialed in so that you're able to make this system work for you. If you can master this system, you will balance your blood sugar. Your blood sugar will balance your hormones. And whatever your goal is, you will achieve. You will feel amazing, you will be educated, and you will achieve your external and internal goals. And it's all coming back to learning how to not just master your hormones, but master your food and fill your nutritional gas where it's necessary.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. One thing I forgot to ask you, so we have to just quickly go back, is sleep.
Yes.
Because this is one that is a big challenge for a lot of people. In this group, we have a lot of nurses and shift workers and people where that is your job, that is your life. So it's a little bit harder to make your eating and your health work for you because sleep is so crucial. And anyone who's had sleep deprivation before realizes just it is literally torture, like actual torture.
Yeah. Well, and sleep directly affects your hormones, cortisol. It's a systematic chain. When your sleep is off, your food is off. And this is part of why Abby, we got her better with fibromyalgia. She wasn't sleeping. Yeah. So you have to keep remembering sleep will affect everything. And when you think about sleep, a lot of times I love when people say, oh, you just need to sleep more. Like, oh, really? That's such an easy thing to say. So I'm not going to tell you, right, Keely, just sleep more.
I wish.
Yeah, it's easy until your 5-year-old jumps on your neck at 4 a.m. to get up. So look, I'm not going to tell you to sleep more. I'm going to tell you, let's improve your sleep. So let me educate you on what the sleep is actually, like how your body works. And once you know it, then you can decide like, okay, what can I do to improve it? This is your sleep pattern. If I pull up my screen here, your sleep pattern is you start with light sleep. So basically light sleep does nothing for you. It just prepares you for sleep. Deep sleep repairs your body and your tissues. And then REM sleep is like rapid eye movement. And that's like a file cabinet. The problem, this is the real problem with sleep. This cycle repeats itself about every 90 minutes to 100 minutes. So when you sleep 90 minutes and all of a sudden you wake up, it's because you're back in light sleep. If you sleep with the TV on, you're in trouble because it will wake you up. If you sleep with the lights on, you're in trouble because the darkness releases melatonin, your sleep hormone. So there's a lot of things you need to do, little things to improve your quality of sleep. So the goal is to get as many of these 90-minute cycles as possible. Sleep is what you need for your mind and your body. So my feedback would be this. Number one, understand the power of 90. Number two, quiet environment, dark environment. If you need noise, make sure it sets on a timer. Number three, what you want to do is if you stress, the last thing you want to do is write down your thoughts right before bed. Give it about an hour. Write down everything an hour before bed. Start getting some downtime. Think about kids. They sleep best when they have downtime, and then they go into sleep. So be careful with electronics and things like that if you struggle to sleep. The other thing that you want to really focus on is make sure that you're in a cool environment and you have proper pillows, bedding. So all these little things to improve the quality of sleep. And then what I love, and you know, you don't have to, I've never been a sleep med guy, but I love AM, PM. I know it's available in Australia and I love PM. And I use this to help my deepness. So PM, the weird thing at 47, I don't sleep as deep as I did when I was 30. Abby tells me all the time, maybe because I have kids and I always worry about them jumping on me out of nowhere because Hope does that. But I use PM and I love that. And that helps me fall asleep and stay asleep. So you can find little things to fill those gaps, allow you, but think about quality sleep and what you can do now to improve it.
Awesome. And I just want to share on that I remember one thing I would say is if you want to have great sleep, don't have children, but
Yes.
yeah,
That is the best one.
That is tip number one. Never have children if you want to sleep well for your whole life. But hey, if you have already had children and realize that, or I don't want to put you off, but what I noticed is I remember a time in my life I had 3 kids. I think my littlest one, Florence, was 1. And every day when Joe left for work, he had to wake me up. This is my pre-Zen days, because it wasn't necessarily, I never had shocking sleepers as kids, but it was just that bit of broken sleep. Someone always kind of maybe needed something or whatever. But he would push me out of bed and I would wake up feeling so tired, like just dead basically. And I would just stay in my PJs. I never had to go anywhere because I had little kids, and my life was just like, I was happy because I was with my kids, but I just felt so tired. And what would happen is I wouldn't eat breakfast then, because it's amazing when you're so tired and that then the last thing you feel like doing, you get all the kids sorted, the breakfast, and then it would get to about 11 a.m. And every day at 11 a.m. we'd get in the pram. We call it a pram. I think you might call that a buggy, Mark. But we'd get in the buggy, pram, and we'd go down to the cafe and I'd get a big coffee. That was my first thing I'd have at about 11. And I maybe would then buy like a bacon and egg roll or some kind of like massive carb, because I was starving by then. And I think I lived like that for about a year because I was so tired. And so now when people say I can't sleep, I'm like, that is actually almost more important than anything, because then the snowball effect of what happens in your day is just gets out of control. And I've lived that. I know what that feels like. And I know if there's any young mums out, or mums with young kids, I mean, out there, I feel you, because I've been there. But also we have a lot of people who then use the Zen fuse because they just got into that cycle of hating breakfast and they just can't do breakfast. So it was another tool to I would just have that straight up just while I was getting everyone organized. And I couldn't quite believe the feeling of energy. Like never in my life had I woken up being like, wow. And Joe was just like, who even are you? Like, and what has happened to my wife that I used to have to kick out of bed, kind of thing. So the power of sleep is something so, so amazing. And so, I just really think that's something worth touching on.
Well, the cool thing, Keely, and everyone now knows this, that the reason why you weren't hungry is because when you're sleep deprived, you increase cortisol. That raises your blood sugar. And then what ends up happening is then you have an epic crash. And that's why you crave. And then the coffee suppresses it, and then you overeat. So this is really what Keely and I wanted to do, start walking people through how your body works. When you understand how your body works, everything in life is better. You're not lost in the wilderness. You're not searching. It's your choice. You can choose to do what you need to do, or you can choose not to, but there's no one to blame anymore. I think unfortunately right now, if people don't understand, then they blame, or they're desperate, they reach. And so the whole goal is, if you get educated, I'll never promise anyone easy, but I'll always promise you it's worth it. And when you understand your body and you understand your food and you maximize your exercise, you win. You control your destiny, and you're never controlled by lack of knowledge anymore. You've now evolved into wisdom, which is the most important thing. Like knowledge, I love from my favorite movie, Peaceful Warrior. Knowledge is knowing, wisdom is applied knowledge. And that's really what the Zen life's all about. It's taking the knowledge and applying it to become wise about your body and optimizing wherever you want to go, you can.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you so much. And I know we're probably a bit conscious of time, but I just wanted to maybe put out any questions. If anyone has any questions, can you have a look as well at the chat, Mark, and see if anyone watching has got any questions, or wants to ask Mark anything specific. Now is the time that you can do that. But while people maybe write that in or we finish, I just wanted to ask, this is the one thing that most people ask me in the Zen life, is that and this is our finisher, is that they get off to a flying start, they get amazing results, they do a detox week, and then they're in Ignite. So the first month, the results like fantastic, and people are feeling fantastic. And then they start to hit a bit of a plateau, because this is what happens no matter what you do. Can you just give us a couple of quick tips? And I've been asked to ask you this by a lot of our members, is what do you do when you feel awesome, you're doing all the right things, but you just hit a bit of a plateau? That's one question that a lot of people always ask.
Yeah, well, I think we go back to, and let me share another one. I have another, hold on, about understanding your set point. These are all back from the body. These are all images from Body Confidence. If you do a little book in the corner, it's not a promo. It's just the only, I'm doing fast. As Keely's asking me questions, if you see me look down, I'm searching for graphics to show a visual. So this is kind of like rapid Q&A. Your set point, it goes back to your hypothalamus, that internal set point. And internally, this is what happens. The older you get and the worse choices you've made, slowly and steadily, whatever you are, you raise your set point, regardless of your metabolism. Have you ever seen the real fast metabolism as they get older? They like still very lean, but they have a belly. It's because they're slowing down their metabolism. So I always talk about a low set point is like a road bike built for speed. A medium set point is like a mountain bike, can build muscle and store fat. And then a high set point is a slow metabolism, like a beach cruiser. And if you're ever ridden a beach cruiser, it's like a 1-gear bike. All 3 bikes can cross the finish line no matter where they're coming from. Certain people are just going to get there faster. As you age, as your hormone shifts, the longer you wait. That's why if you're a woman about to get into menopause, you got to start now. Because once you're in menopause, it will go 10 times slower. So the key is this: your initial drop you get is because you're above your set point. Every weight drop that's fast, you're reducing inflammation. You drop fast because you're above your set point. Once you hit your set point, you plateau. Now, that doesn't mean you're not evolving. You are. But you're gonna make another run. That's why you have to think about, how's my energy? What is my appetite increasing? Am I satisfied? Are my clothes looser? Am I dropping measurements? Do I look leaner in the mirror? And then your scale will go. So when you plateau, the first thing you have to understand is you will plateau. You'll progress, plateau, keep doing the work, progress again. Plateau, progress again. The leaner you get, the harder it is. Because there's a point where you might be a 40-year-old man or a 45-year-old woman, and you're saying, I want to lose my last bit of body fat here, and your body doesn't really care. Your body doesn't need to lose that last. So that's an aesthetic aspect. So what you have to focus on is, what can you do? You got to go back to the detox food. You got to eat clean, clean, clean. You then need to raise the game with your exercise, diversify, high intensity, fat burning cardio, and strength training. And then you need to make sure that you're maximizing your sleep, you're filling any gaps with your supplementation, and you're drinking your water, and you're managing your stress. If you can implement that, and then you're doing little things like, as I'm doing this training right now, I'm standing. These little things that will activate your body. Eat clean, increase your exercise, understand your plateau, but if you do the right work, you will break through that. Good question.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Oh, there's a good question. Why do we need a detox when our body naturally does that? So Bridget, your body doesn't naturally detox if you're eating undetoxed foods. So part of the detox is taking away gluten, soy protein, processed food. So when you're eating processed food, your body won't detox that because it affects your digestive system. Detoxing is cutting bad food. We're not starving. We're cutting foods that cause inflammation inside. That gives your body the ability to then add clean foods, which cleanses your body. It's more cleanse than detox. And then you flush out that excess bloat and toxins with water. That's why it's all about cut cleaning and flushing to optimize your body. Good question. Tips to still eat PFC but have wine. So Carla, that's where you have to go back to goals, expectations, and actions. So if your goal is to, your goal's here, your actions have to support it. But if you want to have wine, this would be my feedback. In Body Confidence, I wrote about my friend Pam, who like was eating clean but not getting the results that she wanted. And I said, man, what is she doing? She should be getting the results. She said she was drinking a glass a couple times a week. And then later, her daughter had a birthday party. We're over at her house. And I looked at the wine mug she was drinking. It was literally like a gauntlet, Keely. It's like one that Angela Sente would drink. You know, if you imagine Angela Sente, this would be her wine glass. The Italian fire herself, drinking that. And then this story reminds me totally of Ange. And then I said, Pam, is that what you're drinking? She said, yeah. We measured it. It was 24 ounces. So basically almost a bottle of wine. So if you're going to drink wine, you want to do your protein and your fat, no carbohydrates. You can do like free foods, like spinach, lettuce, low calorie veggies. And then you do a glass of wine, which is 6 ounces, like just one little glass, a shot of vodka or a beer. But that would be your alcohol.
A shot of vodka in the wine or
No, Keely, don't be an Ange. Don't be an Angelo Sente. And I love Stephanie Sharp Ward from the States is on too. I like we got our multiple countries.
Hello, Virginia. Steph's from Virginia, isn't she? It's good.
Yes.
We've got lots of people on. I like
Bridget,
it.
I'm glad that made sense.
Yeah. And it's true though, that the whole don't give up 95% of your life to weigh 5% less kind of thing in that sense. If some people do enjoy a glass of wine or a bit of chocolate and all the things, and that's what I love about the Zen life and eating PFC is that you can eat whatever phase to match what kind of goal you have. And then if you want to enjoy a wine and do all those kind of things, you do that too. So are you laughing at me or?
No, I'm laughing at Anne. She likes tequila. But I also laughing at you because now everyone's going to put vodka in the wine. Now I got to retell my story.
I'll let you know. Looking after the kids in isolation, I did think about that, but I never did it. So yeah, that's all good.
I'm proud of you, Kelly. And you're right. It's all about 1% and building from there. Now, one thing, why aren't I craving sugar while I'm on detox? So once again, when your blood sugar is balanced, you don't crave sugar. So there's 2 types of cravings. There's physiological cravings. That's low blood sugar. So as long as you're stable, you won't crave. Psychological, like I remember Andrew and Lyndon's funny. We went to pizza in Rome. I love pizza. So no matter what, I always psychologically want pizza. But when my blood sugar is stable, I don't physically need it. It's a big difference. This is why dieting fails people, because not only do they psychologically want to eat off plan, they physically need it because they have an unstable blood sugar. That's why this program, not using food to lose weight, but using food to create hormonal balance, creates that setup for you to win forever.
Yeah, that is true for a lot of women. Like if we want to really pull this back to women and hormones, and we're talking about the week leading up to that time of the month, and I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, but people talk about chocolate and cravings and my body needs this, and is that actually, if you're balancing your blood sugar and eating well, is that, does your body need that, or do you just psychologically want that because that's kind of the state?
So doing the program will solve 80% of all cravings during menstruation. The problem is that you have a surge with women, you have a massive surge of estrogen, progesterone, so that causes a natural imbalance. So so you can solve a lot of the cravings. I've worked with so many clients with PCOS, and we've made massive progress from that. But there's always going to be a little bit because there's such a imbalance of surge. It's the way the body works. So, that's something manageable. The biggest for all the women, I just want to be I don't want to create fear, but it's crucial that you own your food in your body before menopause. Now, if you're in menopause and you're just learning, it's never too late to learn. Just accept things will come a little bit slower, but it's crucial to really focus on your food now.
Yeah, and that is something that I've listened to a lot on different podcasts, and leading what it means when you're in perimenopause or premenopause, and what you do in that time and how much then menopause affects you. And so what you do beforehand is so vital. So I listen to that all the time, and I'm hoping at 36, I'm still a little while away from that. But
when you turn 40, so 40 is the number for men and women. Everything moves slower, so you just got to be prepared and ready.
Okay, so I got 4 years until things start.
But don't say you have 4 years. Just master it now. Keely's gonna have some vodka and wine right now.
Well, I know that I've already got all these messages in my phone saying this is so good. this has added so much value. This has helped so much. I just want to thank you so much for giving up your time. Mark has literally changed so many people's lives all around the world, and there's such a huge following of Zen in so many different countries. I mean, we're huge in China and Brazil. I see you just launched another program into Italy. Like, everyone is kind of waking up a bit to eating PFC every 3, and that is just something that I'm just so passionate about it, because I live it, my family lives it, it works for me, but I'm not perfect. I'm just a person who's just trying to live my best health because it matters to me. And I don't want to be sick. I don't want to have illness. I don't want to have inflammation. And I just want to do everything I can, but still live my life. And this is 100% the best program. And with your kind of mentorship and advice, we're just so grateful. And really, I just hope that everyone got a lot of value out of this. So thank you so much, Mark.
Keely, I want to thank you. I want to thank you. And I love how you just wrapped that up. And I would just go on top of that in the sense of that it's not about what you look like in the mirror. That can be a goal that you have, but it's how great you can feel every day. Every day, my invitation would be to think about the adventures you want. You know, I love camping every weekend with my family. We have a motorhome, and we have a Jeep, and I want to be able to go off-roading, and then we have our bikes, and I have to be able to lift our bikes on the back of our Jeep, and we have a nice inflatable dinghy for like a small boat so that we can go to the lake, and I have to be able to lift that boat and fill it up. These are the things that matter. What you love in life, what you get from it, and why your health matters. And the external stuff, that's just the icing on top of the cake, because it's how great you can feel and live every day. And I lived in my 20s chasing my body. I will never be that again. I will never focus just on getting a 6-pack and living at 3% body fat. Now, sometimes you might be in that health chapter, but for me, it's about what I get from my health and what it can give me. And that would be my invitation. I'm open to do many more of these, Keely. I love you. I love the Zen Life community. And I want to thank everyone for showing up tonight. And this morning, I know it's this morning in the land down under. But just thanks for everything. And thanks for being who you are.
Awesome. Thanks, everyone. And
Bye,
thanks,
everyone.
Mark. We'll get him back.
Come on.
Okay.
See you soon. Bye.
Bye.